Welcome to Channel 5 News. Today's top story involves a new discovery in Andersonville, Georgia. A Confederate prison was found empty and abandoned. We have Channel 5 News reporters down in Andersonville, Georgia with the story. I'm Megan Whalen, and now over to you, Nina.
Thanks, Megan. I'm here at the entrance gate to the Andersonville Prison that was found recently by locals in the area. The prison was founded by the Confederate captain Henry Wirz. Wirz ordered all of his Confederate troops to round up all the Union soldiers and bring them to this prison during the Civil War. The first prisoners were brought to the prison in February of 1864. For the next few months, approximately 400 soldiers arrived every day until June, creating a total of 400,000 prisoners who attended the prison throughout the course of the war. When Wirz first created the prison, his intentions were to have it accommodate 10,000 prisoners in a 16-acre site. As the war went on, the numbers dramatically increased and the prison was overcrowded. We have some gruesome sights to show as we tour around the remains of the prison.
Now we're going to tour you around the important remains of the Andersonville Prison that were discovered earlier this week. We start off here with the shelter of some of the prisoners here at Andersonville Prison.
Tents where prisoners slept. This is the prisoner shelter that was given to each of them. Each tent was overcrowded due to the number of prisoners staying in them. The tents were not very suited for the weather conditions. As you can see, the small space inside each tent was not very comfortable for the sleeping conditions of the large prisoners. Here is the main water supply for all prisoners. Due to the large population at the prison with only a small water supply, there were little rations of water for each prisoner. The water supply was quickly contaminated from the unsanitary conditions it was in, and the lack of the adequate sewage system. The average meal for a prisoner consisted of a sweet potato, a piece of meat about the size of one's 2 fingers, and occasionally a spoonful of salt. As time went by and more prisoners arrived, the rations decreased rapidly. First, taking away the salt, and then the sweet potato. Soon the meat was taken away and was replaced with the cowpeas. As even more time went on, food became scarce, and prisoners went multiple days at a time without any meals.
And that was our brief tour of the Andersonville Prison. And now we're going to take you to an interview exclusive live on only Channel 5 News.
Hi, I'm here with former prisoner of the Andersonville Prison, Charles Baron Hopkins. He's going to give us a little brief story of his experience at the prison. Now, Hopkins, tell me about the arrival of the prison.
Well, it was on May 22nd of 1864, and I was on a gruesome train ride packed with hundreds of men. We were all so close together, and no one knew exactly what was going to happen to us. And then, what was your initial reaction when you first arrived at the prison and saw what you were about to live in, and what was going to happen to you? Well, my main focus was on all the woods around us. I felt trapped and like I had nowhere to go. My first instinct was to run, but then it was too late at this point, and I had nowhere to go, and I knew that if I crossed the deadline, I would be shot immediately by one of the guards.
So besides the fear of being shot, what were some other concerns of prison life?
Well, I looked around at the other men and saw how thin and weak they were. And at that moment, I knew right away that I was not going to be getting a healthy amount of food or water or nutrition at all. And also, seeing all the men that were sick and had disease and how close everyone was with each other, I knew that disease was spreading fast and there was no medical help. So that was a very big concern of mine.
And then what was one thing that helped you get through those long days and nights?
religion a lot, and I would rely on the prayer and company of my other prison mates to help me make it through the day and night. And even at night, you would hear the murmur of prayer from other prisoners being said throughout the whole night, and it was just a very scary thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. We do appreciate it. We know it's a hard subject to talk about. Hi, and welcome back to Channel 5 News Center. Captain Henry Wurz, the founder of Andersonville Prison, is being put on trial. He is being accused of war crimes for holding about 400,000 Union soldiers and killing around 13,000 of them. His charges consist of 13 counts of murder, assault, battery, torture, and other offenses against Union prisoners. We have a Channel 5 news reporter down live in Washington, D.C. at the court of the Wurz trial.
Lawyer, how do you find your defendant?
Not guilty.
Jury, how do you find the defendant?
Guilty.
Henry Wurz hereby is found guilty of conspiracy and murder and is to be hanged 10 November 1865.
Just before the trial of Henry Wurz, we were able to meet with him and hear his few last words.
Hi, I'm here with Captain Henry Wurz, the founder of Andersonville Prison. Let me ask you, Wurz, did you ever think that your prison would expand so rapidly and hold about 400,000 prisoners?
No, actually, this thought never really did occur to me because my initial intentions of this prison was only to hold around 10,000 prisoners or so. So no, I didn't really expect it to expand so rapidly.
Yes. Now, do you regret your decision-making to build a prison now that you're on trial?
No, I do not regret it at all because I don't see myself as being guilty of any crimes. All I was doing was enforcing my Confederate beliefs, and that's really all.
That's an interesting point of view. Thank you for your time.
And there you have it, the remaining parts of Andersonville Prison. Henry Wurz has been officially hanged, and the prison is no longer in use. We now take you over to sports and weather.